Hello everyone, welcome to ETimes. I'm Rachit Gupta. Today joining us for a conversation is Aditya Roy Kapur. We're going to talk about his latest action film, Om. And I'm pretty excited being an action movie buff. So welcome Aditya, how are you?
I'm good, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. So Aditya, let's talk about your first reaction to when Om was pitched to you. Because I always believe the first reaction of an artist is the most honest one when a story is told to you. So what were the thoughts in your mind and what was it about this project that excited you the most?
Actually, the story is what excited me. I feel like every film needs to have these fundamentals in place, and it felt like this one had a lot going for it. And what I heard actually in the start wasn't the finished product. I heard like a 20-minute to half an hour kind of narration of what the film had, but it got me very excited because it felt like the film inherently had an emotionality to it and an emotional story. Because I feel like action films that are not anchored in some kind of emotion and an understandable want tend to be pretty much just action for the sake of action. So what really got me excited was like this story has a lot of meat on the bone. And then obviously the other things started exciting me, like the fact that Ahmed Khan and Kapil Verma have done the kind of action that they've done in their career. So the externals were all in place, but what initially got me was the story and the screenplay.
Okay. I've sort of seen a couple of interviews of you where you said you've always sort of looked up to the action genre.
Yeah.
And now you finally got the chance.
Yeah.
So growing up, what sort of idols did you have in terms of the action genre? And did you ever have that dream sequence or that dream kind of film that, oh, I want to do this?
I actually never grew up wanting to be an actor. I grew up wanting to do those things in real life. So I was like, as a kid in school, you imagine yourself like fighting, like, but not on screen, like in life.
Yeah.
So I guess that is what I spent my time daydreaming about. But my idols, Van Damme, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and Jackie Chan.
Okay.
These are the four. I've seen all their films, their whole filmographies, from their first to their last. And I used to sit up and watch that stuff with my dad. That used to come on our cable as well. And I was just like, I was a mad kid that wanted to fight with everyone. I went for karate class. I did the whole action buff thing. So yeah, these four were definitely my... then of course there were a few more that would come and go, but these four were the main ones.
Any movie sequence that you ever dreamt of doing? Because I mean, if somebody would ask me, for me it would be the Terminator 2 sequence where he takes the Gatling gun and he...
Yeah, it's this.
Yeah.
And I've been telling people that that's my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
Like if you ask me what my in drama, anything, it's Terminator 2 because that film, like I can keep watching it.
Yeah. So.
And I was a kid the same age that the kid in the film was, So I could imagine I was imposing myself on the story maybe. But yeah, him with that gun at the window, like at the chopper. Berserk. But also the one on the bike where he goes and the big truck behind him, where he loads his gun with one hand.
Yeah.
Oh, if I could
That's
do that.
That's such a cool action.
That's so cool.
That track. Yeah. So, I mean, you're dealing with a lot of guns. I mean, that's almost like a technical art when it comes to making action films. So what sort of training did you go through and what sort of challenges?
I actually did some gun training. One of my co-stars, Rohit, he's an expert with it. So I spent a few days with him just understanding what the walk is like, few signals, how to hold it, how to load it. So he put me through my paces. I didn't have as much time as I would have liked with the guns, but it definitely, I kind of zeroed in with Kapil and listen, what do you need me to learn, what do you need me to know? Because sometimes when you're in the middle of filming, you just have to get down to, what you really need for the screen.
Yeah.
But that was very helpful because I think it adds authenticity. You need to be able to look like you know what you're doing, especially if you're playing like a commando. So that was fun work though, because you're learning how to kind of make shooting a gun look believable, and for guys it's like definitely up high, right? It's fun.
Right. Going back to your idols again, Aditya, in the West, we have action heroes.
Yeah.
So whether it's a Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, or even a Tom Cruise, they are known as action stars.
Yeah.
And they very seldom do those, drama or romantic or comedies. They do,
but not as much.
But not as much.
That's their mainstay.
Yeah. But in India, almost every actor does everything. Akshay sir has done his action.
Yeah.
Shah Rukh sir has done his action. Ajay sir has done. So, is it far more competitive as a genre in India, would you say, as opposed to the West?
I don't know about, I haven't really thought of it with that lens, because I think by virtue of everyone doing it, they do it in their own cycle. So they'll do that, then they'll do 5 more. So by the time they do another one, by this logic, I guess that it's been 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So there's not anyone that, there are very few that I think are doing it back to back. So I wouldn't think that there's more competition, so to speak. Whatever it is, I've just put my first foot in the door. So I don't know if I have a little more experience doing it, and out of experience I'll be able to tell you, but right now I don't look at it like that. No.
Okay. Okay. You're sort of making a huge transition. I mean, you've been this heartthrob, you know, you've been this romantic hero. Now to suddenly get into the action space, what do you need to change in your craft, in your approach, in your psyche as well?
I think every role demands a different kind of preparation, and I take every film as that. I think the script and the role decides what the prep for that role will be. So that informs you. You know, you have all the clues in there, and then you can deduce what it is you need to do that's different for this particular role. In this case, I had to kind of definitely learn the action to make it look believable, because the idea I think that Ahmed sir and Kapil had was that they wanted me to do all of it, and for that I needed to put the time in. So I did a good 3.5-4 months of action training. I had these guys that were that I was training with every morning. Just repetition to make sure your body language is right, to make sure your expression is right. I think it's a whole science. You know, fighting for camera is very different for fighting in real life.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge, and that was, I think, my main challenge on this film. Okay. Of course, understanding the character and the scenes and his psyche was you need to do in any film. But every film has its own external sets of challenges. I think in this one it was the action. So definitely needed to give it the time that I did.
Okay. You know, I think Kapil said this at your trailer launch as well, and I think Ahmed sir also touched upon it, that your physicality and your presence in Malang was one of the key factors for them to, you know, cast you in this film.
Yeah.
So obviously your physique has, you know, led you here. But as a person, as a celebrity, do you feel, I mean, usually we ask these questions to actresses.
Right.
Is there a pressure of looking good all the time, of maintaining the perfect body? Do you also think it's a pressure, it's a task, it's a challenge?
I don't feel the pressure. It's definitely a task and a challenge to constantly be in shape for film after film. If you are going to do roles that require physicality, then it's definitely trying, because for that, like they say, the abs are made in the kitchen. So that's a 24-hour job to make sure that you monitor everything that goes into your mouth. That can get pretty tough to maintain that lifestyle for long enough. So it is tough. It is tough. But I do tend to go off the rails every now and then, which is important for me. I can't live that life of moderation for too long. There will be a glitch in the matrix, and that's what keeps me going. You know, if I don't have that day or two of madness, I can't be there 365 days of the year. Right. So what I do is I do it film to film. What I used to do earlier was yo-yo a lot, where I would like put on 20, lose 20, put on 20, lose 20. I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
I keep myself at a baseline which is fairly, pretty much close to where I need to be. So I found that is kind of better, but yes, you then need to live a life of moderation. It's tough.
How much of that discipline sort of helps you in your craft as an actor as well?
I think it does spill over, and you don't realize it. But when you're deep into prep and you're on this frugal diet and you're working out 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and you're in that zone, you start feeling monk-like, and you start feeling more tuned in, more focused, more centered. And that sensation lasts as long as you keep yourself in that heightened kind of focused state of mind. But that I can at least maintain for a short amount of time. I can't be in that intense state of mind for too long, just diet-wise and stuff.
Right.
But it does help. Your question is, if it helps, it does help. It does help you to be more focused. At everything, yeah.
Right. Okay, I have to go to Aashiqui, and I have to ask you, you know, you're probably starting with Aashiqui, and then, you know, films like Fitur and Malang, you've really benefited as a star, as an actor, with the female gaze.
Right.
So how does that make you feel? Like, there are so many girls, there are so many women who look up to you. I mean, how do you sort of react to that?
I don't know how. I mean, it's of course it's flattering, and it's wonderful that you know, they are, you know, there is support from But I don't think about it too much, or don't let it get to me or get the better
But
of
it's
me.
a nice place to be.
It's a wonderful thing, and that, you know, as an actor, support from people and their adulation is, I guess, at the end of the day, what we work for. And that it's there, it definitely does mean the world to me. I rarely reciprocate, and I'm not very active or effusive with my engagement. But I mean, every time I do engage with my fans, I kind of always try to make it a point to them, that to show them that their support means a lot. So, no, it is definitely gratifying. There's no doubt about it.
Couple of questions about the film again. While I was watching the trailer of the movie on YouTube, I saw a lot of comments said that these guys have probably showed a lot of too much of the story. Do you agree in your trailer?
That's the thing, you know.
And I mean, how do you balance that?
The funny thing is that, and what I'm quite excited about, is that it's really not the case.
Okay.
The film has a lot more that there was a bit of a debate about it before the trailer came out, of whether we should show it or not. But I think people are going to be really in for a surprise when they go into the theaters, when they start realizing that there's actually a lot more to the story than I think what they are making it out to be out of the trailer. I can understand where they're coming from, because it seems like, okay, it's this person, this guy's going to save this guy, it's fairly simple. But it's actually not. There's some twists and turns to the screenplay that you won't see coming. And I think that's reason for us as the film team to be optimistic, because I feel like we'll over-deliver on a story basis in the theaters.
Okay. And you know, Ahmed sir and Kapil have done a lot of action films, as you said. Ahmed sir has worked with Baaghi and Heropanti franchises as well. So comparisons are probably going to be inevitable. Are you prepared for that, or does that not bother you?
No, I think it's inevitable, and it's absolutely good for me, because as long as you're getting compared with things that are good, right? So if and they are, so it is. I take it as a compliment if we are being compared with films that have been successful, and that I don't see anything wrong with it. It's
Super. One final question, Aditya. You had a very varied career arc. I mean, you were a VJ. You know, even in your films, you've learned singing. So there's a lot that you've done. How has the journey, and now you're of course, you know, doing action, it's like completely new territory. How have all these experiences sort of changed you as a person, as an actor? And what is it about this variety, you know, is that like a conscious decision that you seek, you know, this variety of roles or variety of opportunities and chances? Are these like conscious efforts from your part?
I think it is. There's a certain amount of luck involved, where you need to be offered things that are varied. I've been lucky enough to kind of have different types of films and genres come to me, and directors that have wanted different things out of me. But it has been a conscious decision as well to not kind of hammer at the same thing just because it's been a success, and that's something that I don't want to do going forward as well, because I feel like complacency for an actor and kind of just being repetitive is one of my biggest fears. I don't want to get into a place where I feel like this is working now, so let's keep doing it. Because the audience will get bored, and more importantly, I'll get bored doing it. You know, I don't want to do the same things. I want to be pushing myself into places that I haven't been, and reach a little further than I think I can reach. So all in all, it has been a gratifying journey, because it has had its fair of trials and tribulations. It's had its ups and downs, and one learns a lot from those. Of course, I think the perks of the job as an actor, you get to learn new skills, you get to learn from the best, and it's a pretty privileged position to be in. So I don't take it lightly. I consider myself lucky to have found something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy waking up for every day. And yeah, man, it's been a fun journey, and it's been unpredictable, but that's the nature of the beast, and you got to just keep going and giving your best on the day.
All right. Okay, on that happy and good note, we'll end this. Thank you so much for your time, Aditya, and best of luck for home.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.